And you're welcome back. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has terminated the appointment of Yaw Kwakwa, the managing director of the Ghana Airports Company Limited. In a letter dated February 4, 2022, the company's board chair, the Transport Ministry, said, per a letter dated January 31, 2022, that the president has directed the sacking of Mr. Kwakwa. Now, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, who is the minister, added in this regard that there must be necessary steps that should be taken to give effect to this directive. And excerpts of the letter indicate that I count on your cooperation of this letter by the MD Yaw Kwakwa, who was on a tour with the Roads and Transport Committee, says he is unaware of this directive from the Transport Ministry.
Not cited any such letter. He is not aware. So, and this is not the medium through which, even if there is such a letter, he will be communicated with. Let's leave that for now.
But your boss signed the letter. Have you cited it yourself?
Let's deal with this matter at a later time. For now, it's the visit of the Parliamentary Select Committee to see whether this place is fit enough for the purpose for which McDonald has applied for.
But can you confirm whether you've seen or not?
You are aware of the letter.
I would not speak to any matter of this kind of situation for now.
Okay. You've told us that yes, you've been very satisfied with the work that McDonald has done, at least physical structures wise, and then the installation of things. We're just getting to know that your appointment as managing director has been terminated by the Minister of Transport. Your reaction to this?
Does this come to your attention, first of all?
I don't know what you're talking about. My appointment has not been terminated, so if you have a fresh letter, please give it to me.
Let's get the latest for you on this matter. Joining us now is Kwesi Parker-Wilson, our parliamentary correspondent. Parker, what's the latest on this? There are confusions over whether or not the dismissal is effective. What more can you tell us about this?
Blessed, that's correct. There seems to be some confusion over the dismissal of the managing director of Ghana Airport Company Limited, Mr. Yaw Kwakwa. Now, earlier when we communicated to him about his dismissal, he was very shocked. He expressed disappointment. He was struggling to even get the words to put together to explain to us that he had no knowledge of his disappointment. Shortly after that, there was a media report about the transport minister himself, who signed a report indicating that he hasn't signed any report, he's not seen any letter about the dismissal. Now we are learning from his deputy Minister Hassan Tampoli, confirming to the parliamentary press corps that indeed Mr. Yaw Kwakwa has been dismissed by the president. In fact, he says that the media took his boss out of context. His boss never denied knowledge of the dismissal of Mr. Yaw Kwakwa, but rather sought to suggest that they send him a copy of the dismissal letter. And that cannot be constituted, or that cannot mean that indeed he denied that Mr. Kwakwa has been disappointed. But he has confirmed to us that today that Mr. Yaw Kwakwa has been dismissed. We asked him whether his dismissal has to do with the confusion around the private or the McDonald aviation. He says it's just rumor mongering and that the president has the right to appoint and equally dismiss any individual in his government. And so we cannot assume that the dismissal of Mr. Yaw Kwakwa is largely premised on the controversies surrounding the operations of the McDonald aviation. Muntala Mohammed is here. He's Ibrahim Mohammed is a member of parliament, and he joins me briefly to get a quick understanding on the controversies and then the confusion around the dismissal of Mr. Yaw Kwakwa. Honorable, thank you very much. What do you make of all the confusion that we are learning? One, he wasn't dismissed. The man says he didn't know. Now his deputy saying that the man has been dismissed. What do you make of the dismissal of Mr. Yaw Kwakwa?
I think that the controversies epitomizes the mess in which we are as a country. You have a minister of state who says that the man has not been dismissed. I haven't signed any dismissal letter. If there was any letter that ought to have been signed, the right person to sign that letter would have been the minister, because the Ghana Airport Company falls directly under the supervision of the Minister of Transport. Yet he said they didn't. and you have his deputy minister who comes to say that he's been dismissed and that his boss was taken out of context. You interviewed him, and you know very well what he said. He made categorical and conclusive statement that the man has not been dismissed. He hasn't dismissed the man, yet his deputy comes to say that, no, my boss was taken out of context. This president is fighting anybody who is fighting corruption.
What do you mean by this president is fighting anybody fighting corruption?
Look, the dismissal has to do with the illegality McDan was engaged in.
No, you cannot say for a fact that McDan was engaged in illegality. Honorable,
I'm saying that the Ghana Airport Company, in a statement issued, described his action as illegal. They described it as illegal. So if I say the illegality he was engaged in, it is absolutely right.
But today there has been a new development. Kwakwa himself says McDan today has satisfied with all the requirements. And if you look at the physical installation at his private terminal, the Terminal 1, everything is put in check.
What informed the statement they issued? Didn't they know that he satisfied the requirement? And why must it take them this number of days to be telling us this cock and bull story? I mean, they think that this government and its appointees think that the people of this country are a bunch of idiots. We are not. The president is fighting anybody who is fighting corruption. And it is very clear that there is a tough war between McDan on one hand and Gabi Ochirdaku and Asende Bidiuchu on the other. Find out who are those managing the VIP launch at Terminal 3. So they consider his action as an action that is competing with what they have been engaged in. And I'm saying that that airport was built by somebody. Look, to be very honest with you, I don't know where we are heading as a country. I don't know what is happening. I have no problem if the president decides to appoint and disappoint. The president has the right and the authority to appoint someone today and the next day disappoint that person. He has the right. But we are looking at the time and we are looking at the circumstances surrounding this. More so, when we have a deputy minister and his deputy singing different songs, I think that it supports the view that the gentleman's dismissal has to do with the tough war that we are experiencing at the
That is your conviction?
Well, it is not my conviction. That is the facts. If there is anything contrary to what I'm saying, say it. Isn't the timing so worrying to you?
No, but one will say that the president has the right, the prerogative to appoint and dismiss. So, assuming, as you are alleging, that it has anything to do with the controversies around McDan Aviation, the president has the right to dismiss Mr. Yakoka if he so desires.
That argument should not even arise. Who doesn't know that it is the president who appoints and disappoints? Who doesn't? We know. But we are raising questions about the timing. If the president, if the reasons for which this man is being dismissed, I don't think that those reasons happen just today.
But there is no reason attached to the letter that we saw.
No, I'm saying exactly that is the more reason why they won't tell us. Because if they begin to, when you begin to ask the reasons, the same people who are telling you that the president has the right to appoint and disappoint will tell you that nothing forces the president to give reasons. That they will tell you the president is not under any obligation to give reasons why he appoints and disappoints. Part of transparent and accountable governance under the prevailing circumstances, surrounding the tough war between McDan and the family of the president, it would have been appropriate they tell us, this is the reason why we are dismissing this gentleman. You yourself, you've indicated that he expressed shock about his dismissal. He expressed shock. They should tell us, they should give us reasons. We are practicing democracy, not autocracy. And therefore, the people of this country, the people whose taxes ensure the comfort and the safety of our president and his appointees ought to be told. Look, if the president decided or decides to appoint the deputy minister for example, foreign affairs, I don't think that anybody would want to ask questions because there isn't any known controversy within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But there is something happening, and which indeed attracted the attention of everybody between a business friend of the president and also a family of the president. So when you disappoint the person, at least you should tell us why you are disappointing him. You should tell us. And to be very honest, my worry is not this. My worry is the robbery that goes on at the airport. My worry is the Frontier Health, the millions of dollars they are making at the airport. And I have been talking about this. Nobody seems to care. Millions of dollars every month. Millions of dollars.
I know there's a private member's motion before the House.
We have made such demands. We have made such demands. Millions of dollars have been made. Frontier Health. The company is owned by Senti Bediotu's wife and the husband to one of the daughters.
Well, we cannot confirm. We cannot confirm.
Look, tell me who
these allegations that we are talking
tell
about.
Me who owns
but I know that is a private member's motion before the House. The House will delve into that.
Don't you think that we need to know?
That is why a member of parliament.
More so when you had the Minister for Health, when he appeared before appointment committee, said that they operated initially without a license. Right. Look, my worry, and everybody should be of concern to this. You have that company, they decide to open an offshore account, the monies are sent there. Could you imagine the monies that are collected every month? Those monies were to be in Ghana. It would have helped to shore up the value of our domestic currency. These monies are sent somewhere under the guise of a private person. Go and find out those who are administering the test there. They are Noguchi employees.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your time. But I know that, as I said, there's a private member's motion bill on this frontier healthcare services and the COVID expenditure that the minority caucus are pushing for. So soon they will consider a bipartisan committee to investigate that. So, as I said, I mean, these allegations, we cannot confirm that. But, Blessed, the fact is that the minority is alleging that the dismissal of Mr. Yakwakwa, MD of Ghana Airport Company Limited, has a link or has a nexus with the controversies and the confusion surrounding the operation of McDonough Aviation. Well, this evening, we are still following and tracking to understand why the man was dismissed, but the minority is demanding answers. They think the timing is problematic and that but for the confusion around the McDonough Aviation, the Mr. Yakwakwa wouldn't have been dismissed.
There are questions even about the letter written to the chief executive of the Ghana Airport Company. Questions about who it is exactly that is dismissing this gentleman. Did you get any clarity from the deputy minister?
Well, the deputy minister in his mind was clear that it was the minister who signed it. So it's the authority. The minister has the authority to do that. And so that letter that we saw is at the behest of the minister responsible for transport. And so there's no ambiguity about who is instructing the MD for Ghana Airport Company Limited to leave office. It is the minister who has the right to do so. And indeed, he is the one who did that.
My colleague Parker Wilson there giving us the latest.